The notification lit up my phone at 2:54 a.m., and I almost ignored it. Almost. Thought you should know what your wife's really doing at those yoga retreats. A friend. Attached was a single screenshot. A hotel reservation confirmation for this coming weekend. Room 412 at the Grandview Resort, 3 hours north. 2 adults. But the name on the reservation wasn't mine. It was Bradley Winter's. My wife Jessica's, just a colleague from the marketing firm. I sat up in bed, careful not to wake the woman sleeping 18 inches away from me. The woman I'd been married to for 11 years. The mother of our 2 daughters, Emma and Lily, currently asleep down the hall in their princess-themed bedrooms. The person I'd trusted more than anyone in the world. My hands weren't shaking yet. That would come later. Right then, I felt nothing but a strange, cold clarity as I screenshot the message and began scrolling back through my mental calendar. The yoga retreats had started 6 months ago. Every 6 weeks or so, Jessica would pack her designer gym bag, kiss me and the girls goodbye, and head off for a weekend of mindfulness and meditation with her friend Amber. She'd come back refreshed, glowing even, full of stories about sunrise sessions and green smoothies and some instructor named Rain or Breeze or whatever pretentious name these people gave themselves. I'd never questioned it. Why would I? We had a good marriage, great even. Or so I'd thought. I opened my laptop, the blue light harsh in our dark bedroom. Jessica stirred slightly, turning away from me, her blonde hair spilling across her pillow. That hair I'd run my fingers through 1,000 times. That neck I'd kissed just hours ago before we'd gone to sleep. My email loaded. I typed in the Grandview Resort's website and navigated to their booking page. My credit card information was already saved in my browser's autofill. Within 3 minutes, I'd reserved room 414, right next door to room 412. Check-in, Friday, March 15th. Check-out, Sunday, March 17th. Same dates as Jessica's upcoming retreat. Only then did my hands start to shake. I looked at the anonymous message again. Who sent it? The number was blocked, the account clearly a burner. Someone who knew. Someone who'd been watching. Someone who thought I deserved to know the truth. They were right. I spent the next hour in my home office, door locked, going through everything with the methodical precision that had made me successful as a financial analyst. Bank statements, credit card bills, phone records. We had a family plan, so I had access to everything. The pattern emerged like a connect-the-dots picture from hell. Text messages to Bradley Winters. Hundreds of them. Nothing explicitly inappropriate in the content I could see. Just friendly workplace banter, inside jokes, emoji that seemed innocuous enough on their surface. But the frequency, the timing. Messages at 11 p.m., at midnight, at 6 a.m. before I woke up. Charges on our joint credit card. The Grandview Resort. Not this upcoming weekend, but 3 other weekends over the past 6 months. She'd been clever about it, spacing them out, mixing in legitimate purchases to obscure the pattern. But there it was. 3 weekends, 3 hotel reservations. Always the same place. I cross-referenced the dates with my calendar. Every single one coincided with a yoga retreat. There was no Amber. Or if there was, she wasn't the one Jessica was spending her weekends with. I sat back in my leather desk chair, the one Jessica had bought me for my 38th birthday last year, and stared at the ceiling. Our wedding photo hung on the wall to my left. Jessica in her white dress, me in my tuxedo, both of us young and stupid and in love outside that little chapel in Napa Valley. 11 years ago. Another lifetime. We'd built a life together. A beautiful four-bedroom colonial in a neighborhood with good schools. Two healthy, happy daughters who still believed in fairy tales and happy endings. A golden retriever named Biscuit, who slept at the foot of Emma's bed. Date nights every Friday when my mom could watch the kids. Family vacations to Disney World and the beach. PTA meetings and soccer practices and Sunday morning pancakes. All of it a lie? Or just the last 6 months? I needed to know everything. Not just suspect. Not just assume. I needed irrefutable proof before I made any decisions, before I confronted anyone, before I blew up our entire world. Because maybe I was wrong. Maybe there was an explanation. Maybe Bradley Winters was just a friend, and the hotel reservations were a coincidence, and I was being paranoid and crazy, and no, I wasn't wrong. Deep in my gut, in that place where you know things without needing proof, I already knew the truth. But I needed evidence anyway. For the lawyers, for custody, for myself. I pulled up a browser and started researching. Private investigators, GPS trackers, hidden cameras. The internet was full of resources for suspicious spouses, a whole economy built on infidelity and broken trust. I felt sick reading through the forums, the stories of other betrayed husbands and wives, the detailed instructions on how to catch a cheater. Was this really my life now? I glanced at the clock. 4:23 a.m. I had to be up for work in 2 hours. The girls would need breakfast. Jessica would kiss me goodbye before heading to her office, where she'd probably spend the day texting Bradley Winters, planning their next romantic getaway while I sat in meetings and analyzed spreadsheets and played the role of the oblivious husband. Not anymore. I had 9 days until that hotel reservation. 9 days to prepare. 9 days to decide exactly how I was going to handle this. The notification appeared on my phone at 7:15 a.m., just as I was pouring Emma's orange juice. Facebook, people you may know. I almost dismissed it. Almost. But something made me tap the notification while Jessica loaded the dishwasher behind me, humming something off-key. The profile picture showed a man in his mid-30s. Fit, expensive sunglasses, golf shirt, the kind of carefully curated casual that screamed marketing professional. Bradley Winters. My hand tightened around the phone. 3 mutual friends. I clicked through, my heart rate accelerating. Jessica's profile appeared first among the mutuals. Obviously. But there were 2 others, Kristen Palmer and David Yu. Both names I vaguely recognized from Jessica's work events. Daddy, you're spilling. I looked down. Orange juice pooled on the counter, dripping onto the tile. I'd overfilled Emma's glass. Sorry, sweetie. I grabbed a dish towel, mopping up the mess while keeping the phone screen angled away from Jessica's line of sight. The girls finished breakfast. Jessica kissed them both, then me, a quick peck that I barely registered, before heading upstairs to finish getting ready for work. I heard the shower start. 15 minutes. Maybe 20 if she washed her hair. I opened Facebook on my laptop in the home office, door locked, pulse hammering against my ribs. Bradley's profile loaded. Privacy settings tight, but not tight enough. His friend list was public. I scrolled through Jessica's profile next, looking for anything I'd missed. Her photos were a carefully maintained gallery of our family life. Beach vacations, birthday parties, the girls' school events. Me, smiling beside her at restaurants and weddings and backyard barbecues. A perfect digital marriage. I clicked on photos she'd been tagged in by others. Started scrolling backward through time, looking for anything that didn't fit the narrative. There. 6 months ago. A group photo at some marketing conference in Chicago. Jessica stood in a cluster of colleagues, wine glass in hand. The photo was tagged by someone named Kristen Palmer, one of the mutual friends from Bradley's profile. I clicked on Kristen's profile. Public photos, thank God. Some people still hadn't figured out privacy settings. More conference pictures. A team dinner. Jessica and Bradley sitting next to each other, his hand resting on the back of her chair. Could be innocent. Could be. Another photo, different event. Some kind of happy hour. Jessica laughing at something, Bradley's face turned toward her with an expression I recognized because I'd worn it myself 11 years ago when I first met her. My jaw clenched. I kept scrolling through Kristen's photos. There, a picture from 3 months ago. Tagged location, Grandview Resort. My vision tunneled. The photo showed a group of people around a fire pit at dusk. Jessica wasn't tagged, but I recognized that blonde hair immediately. She wore a sweater I'd never seen before, cream-colored, expensive-looking. She sat on a bench, and Bradley sat beside her, close enough that their shoulders touched. The caption read, "Best team retreat ever. So glad we could all recharge together." Team retreat. Not a yoga retreat with Amber. A team retreat. With Bradley. I screenshot the image, hands shaking slightly. Checked the date against my calendar. February 10th weekend. The weekend Jessica had told me she was going to that special intensive yoga workshop in the Berkshires. The shower shut off upstairs. I clicked back to Kristen's profile, scrolling faster now. Found another photo from January. Same resort, different angle. This one showed people playing pool in what looked like a game room. Jessica and Bradley stood together near the bar in the background, slightly out of focus but unmistakably them. His hand rested on the small of her back. Screenshot. Another photo from December. Holiday party at the resort. Jessica in a red dress I'd never seen. Dancing. Bradley's hands on her waist. Screenshot. I heard Jessica's footsteps on the stairs. My fingers flew across the keyboard, saving images, noting dates, cross-referencing them with my calendar and bank records. Every yoga retreat matched up with photos from Grandview Resort. Every single one. But she'd never been tagged. Not once. Kristen had posted the photos, tagged other colleagues, but left Jessica's face unmarked. Invisible unless you were specifically looking. Unless Facebook's algorithm decided to be helpful and suggest her lover's profile. "Honey," Jessica's voice from the hallway, "have you seen my phone charger?" "No," I called back, my voice surprisingly steady. "Check the kitchen." Her footsteps retreated. I pulled up David Yu's profile next, the third mutual friend. His privacy settings were tighter, but his profile picture showed him at what looked like the same resort, same fire pit. Posted 4 months ago. I created a new folder on my desktop, named it Tax Documents 2024. Started organizing the screenshots inside, each one labeled with dates and locations. The home office door handle jiggled. "Why's this locked?" Jessica asked. "Working on something confidential," I said. "Client stuff. Give me a minute." I minimized the windows, pulled up an actual spreadsheet, then unlocked the door. Jessica stood there in her work clothes, makeup perfect, smile easy. "I'm heading out. Don't forget Emma has soccer at 4. I remember. She studied my face for a moment. "You okay? You look tired? Didn't sleep well? Still worried about that work thing?" I'd told her I had a stressful project, a convenient lie to explain my recent distraction. "Yeah. Should be resolved soon, though." She kissed my cheek. "Don't work too hard." Love you. Love you too. The words tasted like ash. I listened to her car pull out of the driveway, then immediately reopened the Facebook windows. Went back to Bradley's profile. His friend list included dozens of people from Jessica's company. I started clicking through them systematically, checking their public photos, looking for more evidence. Found it in minutes. A woman named Ashley Bennett had posted photos from a company retreat last October. Not at Grandview Resort. This one was at some vineyard in Sonoma. Jessica appeared in multiple shots, always near Bradley. One photo showed them walking together through the vines, her hand on his arm, both of them laughing. The caption: Wine Country with the best team. Blessed work family. October. The weekend Jessica had told me she was visiting her college roommate in San Francisco. I'd believed her. Sent her off with a kiss and a "have fun catching up." My phone buzzed. Text from my boss asking about a report. I ignored it. More photos. More evidence. A pattern emerging with crystal clarity. Every business trip Jessica had mentioned in the past 6 months, every weekend away, every girls' night that ran late, I found photographic evidence placing her with Bradley. And she'd been so careful. Never tagged. Never posting her own photos from these events. Relying on her colleagues' public posts, assuming I'd never think to look. She was right. I wouldn't have. Not without that anonymous message. Not without Facebook's algorithm deciding to show me Bradley's face this morning. I sat back in my desk chair, the one Jessica had given me for my birthday last year, and stared at the screen. 37 photos, spanning 6 months, documenting a relationship that existed in plain sight just outside the frame of our marriage. My laptop sat open on the desk. Jessica's laptop. She'd left it here this morning, charging on the kitchen counter. I'd grabbed it along with mine when I'd locked myself in the office. Her laptop where she stayed logged into Facebook. I looked at the clock. 9:23 a.m. She'd be at the office by now. First meeting at 10. She wouldn't be home until after 6. I opened her laptop. The screen came to life, no password required. She'd disabled the lock screen months ago because she found it annoying. Facebook loaded automatically. Her account, her newsfeed, her messages. My finger hovered over the trackpad. This was a line. Once crossed, no going back. Invasion of privacy. Violation of trust. I almost laughed at that last thought. I clicked on her messages. The Facebook Messenger icon shows 3 unread messages. My hand hovers over the trackpad. I've already crossed lines tonight, reading her texts, booking the hotel room, screenshotting evidence like I'm building a legal case. Which I suppose I am. But Facebook messages feel different. More intimate somehow, even though I've already read her planning weekend getaways with another man. Maybe it's because Facebook is where we met, where our entire relationship is documented in tagged photos and anniversary posts and couple selfies that now feel like evidence of a different kind of crime. I click. The messages load instantly. Jessica's profile picture smiles at me from the corner of the screen. A photo I took last summer at Emma's soccer tournament. She's wearing my old college sweatshirt, hair pulled back, laughing at something Lily said. I remember that exact moment. We'd just won the championship game. We got ice cream after. That woman feels like someone I used to know. Bradley Winter's conversation sits at the top of her message list. Last active, 11:47 p.m. 4 hours ago, while I was reading their text messages on her phone 18 inches away. I scroll. The messages go back 8 months. Longer than the hotel receipts. Longer than the yoga retreats. August 14th, 11:23 p.m. Bradley. Can't stop thinking about tonight. Jessica. Me either. But we have to be more careful. Bradley. I know. Your husband almost saw us at the conference. My stomach drops. The marketing conference in Chicago. She'd come home with stories about keynote speakers and networking events. She'd brought me back a deep dish pizza from Lou Malnati's, still warm in a special travel box. I scroll faster. September 3rd, 2:14 am. Jessica. He's snoring next to me, and all I can think about is you. Bradley. Leave him. Jessica. It's not that simple, the girls. Bradley. They'd understand eventually. Jessica. You don't have kids. You don't get it. September 22nd, 10:47 p.m. Bradley. This weekend was perfect. Jessica. I hate lying to him, but I hate the idea of giving you up more. Bradley. So don't give me up. Jessica. He's a good father, a good provider, just not. Bradley. Not what? Jessica. Not you. The cursor blinks. I realize I've stopped breathing. October 8th, 1:33 am. Jessica. Are you awake? Bradley. Always for you. Jessica. I think he suspects something. Bradley. What makes you say that? Jessica. He asked about my phone bill, said I've been texting a lot. Bradley. What did you tell him? Jessica. That it's work stuff, client communications. He bought it. Bradley. He trusts you. Jessica. I know, that's what makes this so hard. But not hard enough to stop. November 12th, 9:15 p.m. Bradley. Saw a house today. 4 bedrooms. Thought of you. Jessica. Don't. Bradley. Don't what? Jessica. Don't make me want things I can't have. Bradley. Why can't you have them? Jessica. Because I'm married. Because I have 2 daughters who worship their father. Because blowing up their lives for my happiness makes me a terrible person. Bradley. Staying in a marriage you're not happy in makes you a martyr. Jessica. Maybe I'm okay with that. Bradley. I'm not. I keep scrolling. The messages blur together, planning meetups, covering tracks, discussing what to tell me. There are photos too, ones that never made it to Facebook. Bradley in a hotel robe, Jessica in lingerie I've never seen. The 2 of them in bed, tangled together, her wedding ring clearly visible on the hand draped across his chest. I screenshot everything. My Google Drive folder grows. 47 items, 52 items, 61 items. December 28th, 3:47 p.m. Jessica. He gave me a Peloton for Christmas. Bradley, thoughtful. Jessica. He remembered me saying I wanted to get in shape. Had it delivered and set up while we were at his parents' house. The girls were so excited to surprise me. Bradley. And you feel guilty. Jessica. Wouldn't you? Bradley. I'd feel like a man who doesn't know his wife is unhappy, probably doesn't pay that much attention to begin with. Jessica. That's not fair. He pays attention, he just doesn't see. Bradley. What doesn't he see? Jessica. That I'm bored. That I've been the same person doing the same things for 11 years. That I love my kids, but sometimes I miss who I was before them. Before him. Before all of this. Bradley. You can be that person again. Jessica. No, I can't. That person doesn't have 2 kids and a mortgage and a husband who's never done anything wrong except be exactly who he's always been. The Peloton sits in our basement. She uses it every morning at 5:30 a.m. before the girls wake up. I thought it meant she was taking care of herself, being healthy, happy. January 19th, 11:58 p.m. Bradley, I love you. Jessica, don't say that. Bradley, why not? It's true. Jessica, because it makes everything harder. Bradley, I want to marry you. I want to wake up next to you every morning. I want to be there for your girls' soccer games and school plays and all of it. Jessica, They're not your girls. Bradley. They could be. Jessica. You have no idea what you're saying. Bradley. I know exactly what I'm saying. Leave him. We'll figure out the rest. Jessica. I need time. Bradley. How much time? Jessica. I don't know. February 14th, 8:23 a.m. Bradley. Happy Valentine's Day. Jessica. He made me breakfast in bed. Heart-shaped pancakes. The girls helped. Bradley. And? Jessica. And I smiled and ate them and pretended everything was perfect. Bradley. Jesus, Jess. Jessica. What do you want me to say? That I told him the truth over pancakes while our daughters watched? That I destroyed our family on Valentine's Day? Bradley. I want you to stop pretending. Jessica. Pretending is all I have left. I remember those pancakes. Emma had insisted on adding chocolate chips. Lily had drawn hearts and whipped cream. Jessica had kissed me and said it was the best Valentine's Day breakfast she'd ever had. She'd tasted like maple syrup and lies. March 3rd, 10:12 p.m. Bradley, 2 weeks until our weekend. Jessica, I know. Bradley, you still sound uncertain. Jessica, I'm always uncertain. Bradley, about us? Jessica, about everything, about blowing up my life, about what happens after. Bradley, what happens after is we're together, really together, no more hiding. Jessica, you make it sound so simple. Bradley, it is simple. You're just making it complicated. Jessica, I have children. Nothing is simple. March 10th, 11:34 p.m. Bradley, 1 week. Jessica, I'll be there. Bradley, promise? Jessica, promise. Bradley, I'm gonna make this weekend so perfect you'll never want to leave. Jessica, don't make promises you can't keep. Bradley, try me. The last message was sent 6 hours ago, while I was putting Emma to bed. She'd asked me to read an extra chapter of her book. I'd said yes, of course. I always say yes. Downstairs, Jessica had been messaging the man she's planning to spend this weekend with. The man she might be planning to leave me for. I closed the laptop. The office is too quiet, too small. The walls feel like they're pressing in. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Did you find what you needed? The same number that sent me the hotel reservation. The same person who knew exactly what was happening before I did. I type back, who is this? 3 dots appear. Disappear. Appear again. Someone who thought you deserved to know. Why? Because I've been where you are, and nobody told me. The dots disappear. Don't come back. I stare at the message. A stranger somewhere in Atlanta knows my wife is cheating on me. Knows enough to send me proof. Knows enough to time it perfectly so I discover everything before this weekend. Before she leaves for the Grandview Resort. Before she spends 2 nights with Bradley Winters in room 412. Right next door to room 414, where I'll be waiting. My Google Drive folder sits at 73 items now. Text messages. Facebook photos. Messenger conversations. Hotel receipts. A timeline of 8 months of betrayal, documented and cataloged with the same methodical precision I use for financial analysis. Evidence. The kind that holds up in divorce court. The kind that explains to 2 little girls why their mother doesn't live here anymore. I open a new browser tab and type, Atlanta Divorce Attorneys. 47 results load instantly. I start clicking. The suggestion appeared on my screen at 1:47 p.m. on a Thursday. I was sitting in my parents' living room in Buckhead, half listening to my mother explain her new bridge club drama while Emma and Lily played with their cousins in the backyard. Jessica had stayed home in Connecticut. Work deadline, she'd said. Too much going on with the Riverside account to take time off. I'd believed her. I was scrolling through Facebook on my phone, that mindless thumb flick people do when conversation lulls, when the notification popped up. People you may know. The algorithm had suggestions. It always did. But this time, the top suggestion showed a profile picture of a man I didn't recognize. Dark hair, gym selfie, that particular brand of self-satisfied smirk, with a mutual friend count that made me pause. 47 mutual friends. The name read Jake Patterson. I didn't know any Jake Patterson. I clicked through to see our mutual connections, expecting work colleagues of mine, maybe someone from Jessica's company I'd met at a holiday party and forgotten. The first mutual friend was Jessica. The second was Bradley Winters. The third was someone named Vanessa Cho from Jessica's marketing firm. I felt something cold settle in my stomach. My mother was still talking. And then Linda had the nerve to suggest we switch to a different, "Are you listening, honey?" "Yeah, Mom. Linda's the worst." I scrolled through Jake Patterson's profile. Public posts only. He had his privacy settings locked down tight. But what I could see showed a lifestyle of hotel bars, restaurant check-ins, gym photos with motivational captions about grinding and winning. The kind of guy who used alpha unironically. I went back to the mutual friends list and started clicking through. Every single one was connected to Jessica's work or social circle. People I'd met at company events. People from her book club that wasn't actually a book club. I'd learned that particular lie 3 weeks ago when I'd found the evidence folder on my laptop. People who knew about Bradley. And apparently, people who knew about Jake Patterson. I switched to Jessica's profile. We were still Facebook friends, still showed as married, still had our wedding photo from Napa Valley as our cover image, and started searching through her tagged photos. Nothing showed up with Jake Patterson. But I knew better now. I'd learned about untagging, about hidden posts and restricted lists, and all the ways someone could curate their digital life into a fiction. I opened a new browser tab on my phone and logged into the burner Facebook account I'd created 2 weeks ago. Fake name. Fake profile picture stolen from a stock photo site. Minimal information. Just another ghost in the algorithm. I searched for Jake Patterson again. This time, I sent him a friend request. Then I went to Jessica's profile from the burner account and started scrolling through her photos. The ones visible to friends of friends instead of just her curated inner circle. It took 11 minutes of scrolling before I found it. A photo from 8 months ago, posted by Vanessa Cho. A group shot at what looked like a rooftop bar, golden hour lighting, cocktails raised to the camera. The caption read, "Team building done right. Marketing life, work hard, play hard." Jessica was in the photo, laughing, her hand on someone's shoulder. That someone was Jake Patterson. She wasn't tagged, neither was he. But there they were. I screenshot the image, then kept scrolling. 3 more photos over the next 20 minutes. All group shots from company events. All with Jessica and Jake Patterson in frame, never quite next to each other, but always present. Always untagged. Same pattern as the Bradley photos I'd found. My mother had moved on to complaining about my father's golf habit. Emma shrieked with laughter from the backyard. My phone felt like a live grenade in my hand. I opened my messages and pulled up the thread with the block number. The anonymous messenger who'd sent me that first hotel screenshot 4 weeks ago. "Who is Jake Patterson?" I sent it before I could second-guess myself. 3 dots appeared immediately. "Wondered when you'd find him." My hands went numb. "How many are there?" The response took longer this time. Bradley's the current one. Jake was before. There might be others. I only know what I know. I stood up from the couch, mumbled something to my mother about needing to make a work call, and walked out to my father's study. Locked the door behind me. Who are you? Someone who tried to warn Jake's wife too. She didn't listen. You did. Jake's married? Was. She divorced him 6 months ago when she found out. Took him for everything. I sat down in my father's leather desk chair, staring at my phone screen. How do you know all this? I pay attention, and I remember faces from company events. Your wife's good at hiding things, but she's not perfect. Are you from her company? No response. I tried again. Why are you helping me? The 3 dots appeared and disappeared twice before the message came through. Because nobody helped me. And I know what it's like to be the last one to know. I wanted to throw the phone across the room. Instead, I opened my laptop, the one I'd brought to Atlanta specifically because I didn't trust leaving anything important at home anymore, and logged into Facebook from there. The screen was bigger, easier to see details. I went back to Jessica's profile and started a systematic search through every photo album, every tagged post, every comment thread I could access. The burner account gave me visibility into friends of friends content, which meant I could see posts from Jessica's coworkers that she'd interacted with but hadn't shared to her own timeline. It was like watching a parallel version of my marriage unfold. Here was Jessica at a team dinner I'd never heard about, Jake Patterson 3 seats down. Here was Jessica at a conference in Boston last year, the one where she'd said the hotel Wi-Fi was terrible so she couldn't FaceTime with the girls, with Jake visible in the background of a group photo taken in the hotel lobby. Here was Jessica at someone's birthday party, tagged by Vanessa Cho, Jake's arm around Vanessa's shoulders while Jessica laughed at something off camera. I started making a new folder on my desktop, labeled it JP Evidence, and began saving screenshots. 43 minutes later, I had 17 photos spanning 14 months. The timeline overlapped with Bradley by about 6 months. My phone buzzed with a new message from the blocked number. Jake's profile is public if you search from a non-friend account. He's cocky, doesn't hide as much as he should. I created another burner account, this one not even requesting friendship, just a ghost for viewing, and searched for Jake Patterson again. The anonymous messenger was right. His profile was a masterclass in narcissism. Gym photos, car photos, screenshots of his sales numbers with captions about crushing quotas. Check-ins at expensive restaurants and hotel bars. And there, buried in a photo album from 13 months ago labeled Work Wins, was a picture of Jake with his arm around Jessica at what looked like a hotel conference room. She was holding a champagne flute, smiling at the camera. The caption read, "Celebrating the Riverside account with the team. Couldn't have done it without these rock stars." The Riverside account. The same account Jessica had used as her excuse for not coming to Atlanta this week. The same account she'd mentioned in her messages to Bradley as the project that started everything. I screenshot the photo and added it to the folder. My phone rang. Jessica's name lit up the screen. I stared at it for 3 rings before answering. "Hey," I said. My voice sounded normal. I'd gotten good at that. "Hey, how's Atlanta? Are the girls having fun?" "They're great, playing with their cousins." "That's wonderful. I miss them so much." A pause. "I miss you too." "Working hard on that Riverside deadline?" "You know it. I'm literally drowning in spreadsheets right now." She laughed, That bright, easy laugh I used to love. But it'll be worth it when we close the deal. When did you start working on Riverside? I can't remember. Oh gosh, over a year ago now? It's been our biggest project. Why? Just curious. You talk about it a lot. Because it's consuming my life. Another laugh. Anyway, I should get back to it. Kiss the girls for me? Will do. Love you. You too. I ended the call and opened the photo of Jessica and Jake celebrating the Riverside account. 13 months ago, before Bradley, the Facebook suggestion algorithm had done what it was designed to do: connect people through mutual networks, surface hidden relationships, reveal patterns in social graphs. It just hadn't anticipated revealing this. The Facebook algorithm didn't stop with Jake Patterson. I sat there in my office at 4:47 a.m., the laptop screen casting its blue glow across evidence spreadsheets and printed bank statements, watching the "people you may know" carousel refresh. 3 more faces I didn't recognize. All men. All with mutual friends in common with Jessica. My hand hovered over the trackpad. I clicked the first one. Derek Walsh, marketing consultant based in Charlotte. 43 mutual friends with my wife. I scrolled through his photos, corporate events, conference photos, the kind of professional headshots people use when they're trying to look approachable but competent. Then I found it. A group photo from 2 years ago. Some marketing summit in Nashville. Jessica stood 3 people away from Derek, both holding champagne flutes, both smiling at something off camera. The photo was tagged by someone named Melissa Grant from Jessica's firm. I opened a new tab, searched Jessica's tagged photos for Derek Walsh. 17 results. My throat went dry. Conference photos, team dinners, a charity 5K where they wore matching company shirts. Nothing overtly romantic. Nothing I would have questioned if I'd stumbled across them randomly. Just colleagues who worked together, attended the same events, existed in the same professional orbit. I clicked through to Derek's profile. Scrolled down. Down. Down through 2 years of posts. There, a check-in at the Grandview Resort. 18 months ago. No photo. No tagged companions. Just a simple location tag and a comment. Much needed getaway. I cross-referenced my spreadsheet. Pulled up the credit card statement from that same weekend. Jessica had told me she was visiting her college roommate in Asheville. I'd stayed home with the girls. Emma had just started kindergarten. We'd made a blanket fort and watched Disney movies all weekend while Mommy had her girl time. The charge was right there. Grandview Resort Spa. 8/47/32. I'd asked about it when the statement came. She'd said her roommate had surprised her with a spa day. That the resort had better facilities than the place they'd originally planned to stay. I'd believed her. I moved to the second suggested profile. Nathan Pierce, real estate developer, 31 mutual friends. Same pattern. Tagged photos at professional events. A charity gala. A wine-tasting fundraiser Jessica had mentioned attending for work. Nothing suspicious in isolation. I searched his timeline for Grandview Resort. Nothing. I tried a different approach. Opened Jessica's hidden messages with Bradley again. Scrolled back further than I'd gone before. Past the recent planning. Past the declarations of missing each other. Back to when it started. There, 8 months ago. Bradley's first message. Great seeing you last night. Different without the usual crowd. Jessica's response. I know. Felt strange being just the 2 of us, but good strange? Bradley. Very good strange. We should do it again sometime. Without the work excuse. Without the work excuse. Meaning there had been work excuses before. Meaning this wasn't the first time they'd crossed the line from professional to personal. I scrolled further back in her main message list. Found a thread with Nathan Pierce from 11 months ago. Nathan. Last night was amazing. I can't stop thinking about you. Jessica. We can't do this again. I have a family. Nathan. You said that last time. Jessica. I mean it this time. Nathan. Sure you do. The conversation ended there, no further messages. But I went back to her tagged photos, filtered by date, a corporate mixer, 12 months ago. Jessica and Nathan in the background of someone else's photo, standing close together near the bar, her hand on his arm, both of them laughing. I checked the credit card statements from that period. 3 charges at the Grandview Resort over a 4-month span. All on weekends I'd been told she had work conferences or girls' trips, or that yoga retreat that started the whole pattern. The third suggested profile was younger. Mid-20s. Tyler Brooks. Junior account executive at a different marketing firm. 24 mutual friends. I almost skipped him. Told myself I'd found enough. That adding another name to the list wouldn't change anything. But my finger was already clicking. His profile was more casual than the others. Photos from bars and concerts, hiking trips, the kind of carefree single-guy life I'd left behind when Emma was born. I searched Jessica's name in his photos. One result. A group shot from a marketing conference in Miami. 14 months ago. Jessica had told me it was a mandatory work trip, that she'd be in sessions all day and networking events all night, that she'd barely have time to call. She'd called once, on the second night, told me about a boring panel on consumer behavior trends, asked about the girls, said she missed us. In the photo, she wore a red dress I'd never seen before. Tyler stood next to her, his arm around her waist. Both of them looked drunk. Happy. Young. The photo was posted at 2:17 a.m. I checked Tyler's timeline for that weekend. Found 3 more photos from the same night. A rooftop bar. Another club. A blurry selfie with Jessica barely visible in the background, dancing. No messages between them in her Facebook inbox. But I opened her email again, searched his name. Nothing in her main folder. I checked the trash. Empty. She'd cleared it recently. I tried her spam folder. There, one email. From 15 months ago. Tyler's personal Gmail to her work address. Subject line, about last night. The preview text read, I know you said it was a mistake, but I don't think either of us really believes. The rest was cut off. I clicked it. The email had been deleted. Only the preview remained in the system cache. I sat back in the desk chair, the one Emma and Lily had picked out for my birthday 2 years ago, the one with the lumbar support Jessica said I needed, and stared at the 4 faces on my screen. Bradley Winters, Jake Patterson, Derek Walsh, Nathan Pierce, Tyler Brooks. 5 men. 5 affairs. Or maybe more. Maybe these were just the ones the algorithm had caught. The ones careless enough to leave digital breadcrumbs in tagged photos and mutual friends and location check-ins. My phone buzzed. The blocked number again. You're finding more, aren't you? I typed back. How many? The 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. I only know about 4. Bradley, Jake, Derek, Nathan. Who's the 5th? Tyler Brooks, Miami Conference. A longer pause this time. I didn't know about him. Jesus. I stared at the message, at the admission that even my anonymous informant, whoever they were, whatever their connection to this disaster, didn't have the full picture. Who are you? I typed. The response came immediately. Someone who wishes they'd known sooner. Someone who's trying to help you not make my mistakes. What mistakes? I confronted too early, without enough evidence. She convinced him I was crazy, jealous, paranoid. They stayed together. I lost everything. She? My wife. She had her own Bradley, her own Jake. I found out about one. Didn't realize there were others until it was too late. Until she'd already poisoned everyone against me. Family court didn't believe me. Thought I was making things up out of spite. I looked at the 4 faces on my screen again. 5, counting Tyler. How do I prove it? You document everything. Every name, every date, every receipt. You build a case so airtight that when you finally confront her, she can't spin it. Can't make you the villain. I have the hotel reservation. The messages with Bradley. That's one affair. You need all of them. Every single one. Otherwise, she admits to Bradley, says it was a one-time mistake, begs forgiveness. And you spend the rest of your life wondering if you made the right choice giving her another chance. Wondering if there were others you missed. The cursor blinked in the message box. The hotel is in 4 days, I typed. I know. That's your deadline. 4 days to find everything. Then you decide how you want to handle it. You said you confronted too early. What should I do differently? The response took almost a minute. Make sure you have witnesses. Make sure it's documented. Make sure when she tries to rewrite history, you have proof that can't be disputed. I heard movement upstairs. Water running. Jessica was awake. I closed the laptop, gathered the printed statements, locked them in my desk drawer. Deleted the message thread with the blocked number. Footsteps on the stairs. I opened a work spreadsheet, made my face neutral. Jessica appeared in the doorway, wearing my old college t-shirt, her hair messy from sleep. You're up early, she said. Couldn't sleep. Quarterly reports. She crossed the room, kissed the top of my head. You work too hard. I smelled her shampoo. The same scent for 11 years. Lavender and vanilla. Someone has to pay for those yoga retreats, I said. She laughed. Actually laughed. They're worth it. I feel like a completely different person when I get back. I bet you do. She didn't catch the edge in my voice. Or maybe she did and chose to ignore it. I'm making coffee. Want some? Sure. She left. I heard her humming in the kitchen. I opened the laptop again. Looked at the 5 faces. 4 days. The Facebook app kept serving suggestions. I'd been staring at my phone for 20 minutes in the parking garage at work, my car running, heat blasting against the March cold. The algorithm had become my investigator, my digital bloodhound. Every refresh brought new connections, new faces, new threads to pull. People you may know. Bradley Winters appeared again. 3rd time today. I clicked through to his profile. Still public, still careless. His friend list loaded slowly on the corporate Wi-Fi, bleeding through the concrete structure. 237 friends. I started scrolling, methodical, looking for familiar faces. There. 40 names down. Nathan Pierce. My chest tightened. I clicked through. Nathan's profile was more locked down than Bradley's, but his friend list was visible. I scrolled. Derek Walsh, Jake Patterson. They all knew each other. I sat back against the leather seat, phone hot in my palm. The heating vents hummed. 3 of Jessica's affairs, all connected on Facebook. Not just random men she'd met at conferences or hotel bars. They knew each other. They were friends. My fingers moved before my brain caught up, navigating back to Bradley's photos. Public albums. I started scrolling backwards through time. Birthday parties, company events, a softball league. There. 6 months ago. A group photo at some bar, 20 people crowded around pushed-together tables. Bradley in the center, arm around a woman I didn't recognize. Nathan Pierce 3 seats down. Derek Walsh on the end, beer raised to the camera. And in the background, slightly blurred but unmistakable, Tyler Brooks. 4 of them. In one photo. 6 months ago. I screenshotted it. My hands were steady. That surprised me. 3 days ago they'd shaken when I'd first opened that anonymous message. Now they were surgeon steady as I documented my wife's systematic betrayal. People you may know, Jake Patterson. I clicked. His profile loaded. Privacy settings tighter than the others, but his cover photo was public. A beach sunset, generic. But his profile picture, I zoomed in. He was wearing a company polo. Logo visible on the breast. Hartwell Marketing Solutions. Jessica's firm. My breath came shallow. They all worked at Jessica's firm. Every single one of them. Not random affairs, not chance encounters at conferences 3 hours away. Colleagues. People she saw every day. People who saw each other every day. The anonymous contact's words echoed. You need to know everything before you move. I wasn't even close to everything. I opened a new browser window on my phone, typed Hartwell Marketing Solutions staff. The company website loaded. I navigated to their About page, then Team. Headshots arranged in a grid. I scrolled until I found Jessica's photo. Professional smile, blue background, Senior Campaign Manager beneath her name. I kept scrolling. Bradley Winters, Account Director. Nathan Pierce, Creative Lead. Derek Walsh, Digital Strategist. Jake Patterson, Client Services Manager. Tyler Brooks, Media Coordinator. All there. All smiling professionally from their little squares. All sleeping with my wife. Or, the thought arrived cold and clear. Maybe not all sleeping with her. Maybe some of them knew. Maybe they covered for each other. Maybe this was a game they played, passing her around, laughing about it over beers at their softball league. My phone buzzed. Text from Jessica. Running late tonight. Client dinner. Don't wait up. Love you. 3 kissy face emojis. I stared at the message. Client dinner. Sure. I opened our shared calendar. She'd added it this morning. Hartwell client dinner, 6 to 9 p.m. I switched back to Facebook, pulled up Bradley's profile again. His most recent post from 20 minutes ago crushed that presentation. Team drinks at Murphy's to celebrate. Murphy's Tavern. I knew it. 10 minutes from our house, opposite direction from Jessica's office. Not a client dinner. Drinks with Bradley. I could drive there, catch them, document it. But the anonymous contact's voice. Don't confront too early. You need everything. I needed everything. I put the car in reverse, pulled out of the parking spot, but I didn't drive home. I drove to the public library 3 blocks from my office, parked in the back lot where my car wouldn't be visible from the street. Inside, the reference section was nearly empty. I chose a computer terminal in the corner, logged into a burner email account I'd created yesterday. Opened Facebook in an incognito window. The profile I'd made last night loaded. Kevin Thompson, generic name. Stock photo of a 30-something white guy smiling at a beach. No posts, no photos beyond the profile picture. Just authentic enough to pass a casual glance. I navigated to Hartwell Marketing Solutions company page. Clicked through to their employee list. Public, because marketing firms love showing off their teams. I started sending friend requests. Not to Jessica's lovers, to everyone else. The junior coordinators, the administrative staff, the interns. People peripheral enough that a random friend request wouldn't raise alarms, but close enough to see the office dynamics. 20 requests sent. I closed the browser, cleared the history, logged out. My real phone buzzed again. Unknown number. Making progress? The anonymous contact. I typed back, they all work together. All of them. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. You're seeing it now. This wasn't random. This was systematic. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Who are you? The dots pulsed for 30 seconds. Someone who didn't figure it out in time. Someone who confronted with half the evidence and lost everything in the divorce because she had time to prepare. Don't make my mistake. She? I typed. Jessica? No, my ex-wife. Different situation, same pattern, same firm. Ice water in my veins. Hartwell? Yes. I stared at the screen. The library's fluorescent lights hummed overhead. An elderly woman pushed a cart of books past my terminal. How many? I typed. In my case, 3 that I found. But I confronted after the first one. Didn't get proof of the others until the divorce proceedings. Judge didn't care. Said I'd condoned the behavior by staying after I knew. She got primary custody. I see my kids every other weekend. My throat closed. Emma and Lily. Princess bedrooms and soccer practices and Sunday pancakes. I'm not making that mistake, I typed. Good. Document everything. Every affair, every lie, every dollar she spent on them. Make it so overwhelming that no judge, no mediator, no marriage counselor can spin it any other way. The hotel this weekend, I typed. You said witnesses. Record everything, video if possible. But more importantly, make sure someone else sees it. Hotel staff. Other guests. People who can testify that they saw her with him. That it wasn't some misunderstanding or mistake. Make it public enough that she can't deny it, but controlled enough that you're not the one who looks unstable. I thought about room 414, right next door to 412, adjoining wall. I'll be there, I typed. 4 days. Stay calm until then. Act normal. Don't give her any reason to suspect. The dots appeared again. And check her laptop tonight. If they all work together, there might be company emails. Things she thought were safe because they're on the corporate server. People get sloppy when they think they're protected. The laptop. Jessica's work. Laptop. Sitting on the desk in our home office. Password protected, but I'd seen her type it enough times. Muscle memory from standing behind her chair, massaging her shoulders while she finished reports. Back when I thought I was being a supportive husband. Back when I was just being a fool. I deleted the text thread, cleared it from recently deleted. Drove home through rush hour traffic, my mind cataloging every detail. The Facebook connections, the company page, the softball photo with 4 of them together, the fake profile sending friend requests to their coworkers. Jessica's car wasn't in the driveway when I arrived. Client dinner, team drinks, whatever lie she'd settled on. I let myself in through the garage. The house was quiet. The girls were at my mother's for the night. Jessica had arranged it yesterday. So we can both work late without worrying about pickup, she'd said. So she could stay out as late as she wanted with Bradley. I walked upstairs to the home office. Her laptop sat closed on the desk, power cable snaking to the outlet. I opened it. The login screen glowed. My fingers typed her password. The same password she'd used for years. The one I'd seen her enter 1,000 times. Emma Lily 2014. Our daughters' names and the year we bought this house. The desktop loaded. Email icon in the dock. I clicked it. Her Hartwell corporate account opened, already logged in, thousands of emails. I scrolled, looking for names I recognized. There. Bradley Winters. 43 email threads. I opened the most recent one. Tonight was perfect. Can't wait for this weekend. Room service and no interruptions. Her reply. Counting the hours. He thinks I'm at a yoga retreat. I screenshotted it, kept scrolling. An email from 3 months ago. Nathan Pierce. Subject line, last night. You're amazing. When can we do that again? Her reply. Soon. I'll figure something out. This is risky, but I can't stop thinking about you. Screenshot. Further back. Derek Walsh. That conference hotel was perfect. Same time next month? Screenshot. I worked backwards through months of emails, my fingers mechanical, my breathing controlled. Each screenshot saved to a hidden folder I'd created in my cloud storage. Each piece of evidence another nail. The front door opened downstairs. Honey, I'm home, Jessica's voice, bright, cheerful. The voice of someone who'd just spent 3 hours drinking with her lover while her husband thought she was at a client dinner. I closed the email. Shut the laptop. Moved to my own desk, opened my work computer, pulled up a spreadsheet. Her footsteps on the stairs. Hey, she said from the doorway. Thought you'd be asleep by now. I turned, managed a smile. Couldn't sleep, catching up on some reports. She walked over, kissed the top of my head. I could smell wine on her breath. Wine and men's cologne. Don't work too late, she said. Come to bed soon? Soon, I agreed. She left. I heard her in the bathroom, water running, the familiar sounds of her nighttime routine. I turned back to my computer. Opened my phone. The Facebook app refreshed. People you may know. More suggestions, more connections, more threads to pull. 4 days until the Grandview Resort. I had work to do. The hotel hallway smelled like vanilla air freshener and carpet cleaner. Room 414's door clicked shut behind me at 3:17 p.m. on Friday, March 15th. Through the wall, I could hear the faint sound of a television in 412. They weren't here yet. I set my overnight bag on the bed and pulled out the equipment I'd bought 2 days ago from an electronics store 40 minutes from our house. A voice-activated recorder, small enough to fit in my palm. A camera pen that actually worked. My phone, fully charged, with a backup battery pack. The anonymous contact's final message had been clear. Document everything, but don't break any laws. You need evidence that will hold up in court, not get you arrested. I sat in the desk chair and waited. They arrived at 6:43 p.m. I heard Jessica's laugh first, that bright, unguarded sound she used to make with me. Then Bradley's deeper voice, muffled through the wall. A door closing. Silence. Then sounds I didn't need to hear to understand. I recorded it all. Every word that came through clearly. Every laugh. Every sound that confirmed what I already knew but needed documented. At 8:15 p.m. they left for dinner. I heard them in the hallway, Jessica saying something about the restaurant downstairs. I waited 3 minutes, then followed. The hotel restaurant was dimly lit, designed for romance. I took a table in the back corner where I could see their booth, but they wouldn't notice me. Ordered dinner I didn't eat. Took photos with my phone. Careful, discreet, just 2 people having dinner. Nothing illegal about photographing a public space. Jessica wore the blue dress I'd bought her for our anniversary last year. Bradley's hand rested on hers across the table. They looked happy. In love even. I paid my bill and returned to 414 before they finished their meal. The sounds through the wall resumed around 10:30 p.m. I sat in the dark, recording, documenting, my phone camera pointed at the wall as if that somehow mattered. As if visual proof of audio evidence made it more real. I didn't sleep. At 7:23 a.m. Saturday morning, I heard movement next door. Shower running. Jessica's voice asking about breakfast. Normal, domestic sounds. The kind of sounds that should have been ours. My phone buzzed. Text from Emma. Miss you, Daddy. Grandma made pancakes. I stared at the message, at my daughter's innocent words, at the heart emoji she'd added. I typed back, Miss you too, sweetheart. See you tomorrow. Love you. Then I opened my laptop and began organizing the evidence. The recordings from last night, the photos from dinner, the emails I'd found on Jessica's work computer, the Facebook messages, the bank statements, the credit card receipts going back 18 months, 5 affairs, documented, dated, proven. Bradley, Jake, Nathan, Derek, Tyler, 23 hotel visits to various locations, $47,000 spent on restaurants, hotels, gifts, all from our joint account. All while I'd been home with our daughters, believing my wife was at yoga retreats and work conferences and girls' weekends. At 11:04 a.m., my phone rang. Unknown number. You there? The anonymous contact. First time I'd heard their voice. Male, older, tired. I'm here. You get what you need? Yes? A long pause. What are you going to do? I looked at the wall separating me from my wife and her lover. I don't know yet. Let me tell you what I learned, he said. Confronting her here, in the moment, feels right. Feels like justice. But it's not strategic. She'll cry, she'll apologize, she'll make promises. And you might believe her because you want to believe her. Because blowing up your life is terrifying. So what should I do? Go home. File for divorce Monday morning. Let the lawyer serve her papers at work, in front of everyone. Let her explain to her colleagues why her husband is divorcing her. Let the evidence speak in court where it matters, not in a hotel room where it's just emotion. Through the wall, I heard Jessica laugh, that same bright, happy sound. She doesn't deserve a warning, I said. No, he agreed. She doesn't. But your daughters deserve a father who played it smart, who documented everything, who can prove in family court exactly why their mother shouldn't get primary custody. This isn't about what she deserves. It's about what you can prove. I closed my eyes. Who are you? Someone who confronted his wife in a hotel room just like this one. Someone who let emotion override strategy. Someone who sees his kids every other weekend because he couldn't prove a pattern, only a single affair. Don't be me. The line went dead. I sat there for 20 minutes, listening to my wife's happiness through the wall. Then I packed my bag, erased any trace I'd been in room 414, and checked out. The front desk clerk asked if everything had been satisfactory. Perfect, I said. Exactly what I needed. Monday morning, I met with the divorce attorney at 8 a.m. Catherine Mills, 53, with a reputation for winning custody cases. I'd chosen her carefully. I presented the evidence. All of it. The spreadsheets, the recordings, the photos, the emails, the Facebook messages, 5 affairs, 18 months, documented proof of systematic infidelity and financial deception. She looked at me over her reading glasses. This is comprehensive. I'm a financial analyst. I'm thorough. Mr. Thompson, I have to ask, how do you want to proceed? We can file for divorce, seek full custody based on this evidence, but there's another option. What option? Confrontation first. Some clients need closure, need to hear the admission. We can arrange a mediated conversation where, no, I said. File the papers. Serve her at work. Today, if possible. Today isn't possible. Wednesday at the earliest. Wednesday, then. She nodded slowly. And custody? I thought about Emma and Lily. about their princess bedrooms and soccer practices, about Sunday morning pancakes and bedtime stories and everything that was about to shatter. I want primary custody. She can have supervised visitation until we establish that she's stable. Based on this evidence, that's very achievable. The financial deception alone, spending marital assets on extramarital affairs, that's a significant factor. The multiple affairs, the systematic lying, the fact that she used work trips your income paid for to conduct these relationships. She tapped the folder. This is a strong case. Good. Mr. Thompson, I need to prepare you for what happens next. When she's served, she'll likely call you, text you, show up at the house. You cannot engage. Any communication goes through me. Anything you say can be used against you in court. Do you understand? I understand. And the children. You'll need to tell them something. My throat tightened. What do I tell them? The truth, age appropriately. Mommy and Daddy are separating. It's not their fault. Both parents love them. Details can come later when they're older. For now, stability and reassurance. I signed the retainer agreement. Authorized her to file. Walked out of her office into the March morning with my marriage officially ending, even if Jessica didn't know it yet. She was served Wednesday at 2:47 p.m. I know because my phone started ringing at 2:51. 17 calls in 20 minutes. I didn't answer any of them. The texts started at 3:09. What is this? Please call me. This is insane. We need to talk. I can explain everything. Please don't do this to our family. Think about the girls. I love you. This is a mistake. I forwarded them all to Catherine Mills. Didn't respond to a single one. At 4:33 p.m., Jessica showed up at the house. I'd anticipated this, had the locks changed Tuesday night. Her key didn't work. She rang the doorbell, knocked, called my phone, rang the doorbell again. I stood in the kitchen watching through the window as my wife of 11 years pounded on the door of the house we'd bought together, begging to be let in. Emma and Lily were at my mother's. They'd stay there until this initial storm passed. Jessica's voice through the door. I know you're in there. Please, we need to talk about this. It's not what you think. I recorded it, sent it to Catherine. She left at 5:47 p.m., drove away in the car I'd helped her pick out 3 years ago, financed with the joint account she'd been draining for hotel rooms with other men. The house was quiet. Too quiet. I walked upstairs to the girls' rooms. Emma's soccer trophies lined her bookshelf. Lily's art projects covered her walls. Evidence of a childhood that was about to change forever. My phone buzzed. Text from my mother. Girls are asking when they can come home. What should I tell them? I typed back, tomorrow. I'll explain everything tomorrow. The divorce took 7 months. Jessica fought for joint custody, claimed I'd been controlling, suspicious, paranoid, said the surveillance was evidence of my instability, not her infidelity. Catherine Mills presented the evidence methodically. The 5 affairs, the financial records, the systematic deception, the recordings from the hotel, the emails from her work computer. Jessica's attorney tried to argue that I'd violated her privacy, that the recordings were inadmissible, that her personal life didn't affect her ability to parent. The judge disagreed. Primary custody to me. Jessica got supervised visitation every other weekend to be reevaluated after 6 months of counseling. She was ordered to repay half the money she'd spent on her affairs, $23,000. The house went to me. Retirement account split, but heavily in my favor given the financial deception. Jessica cried on the stand, apologized. Said she'd made mistakes but loved her daughters. Said she'd been unhappy but handled it wrong. Said she wanted to make it right. The judge wasn't moved. Neither was I. 2 years later, I sat in the bleachers at Emma's soccer game. She scored the winning goal, and I cheered louder than anyone. Lily sat beside me, drawing in her sketchbook, occasionally looking up to watch her sister play. Jessica sat on the opposite side of the field. She'd completed her counseling, had unsupervised visitation now, every other weekend and Wednesday evenings. She'd quit Hartwell Marketing, moved to a smaller firm across town. Dated someone new, though I didn't ask for details and she didn't volunteer them. We were civil at exchanges, professional. We talked about the girls' schedules, their schoolwork, their needs. Nothing more. Emma ran over after the game, sweaty and grinning. "Did you see, Daddy? Did you see my goal?" "I saw, sweetheart. You were amazing." Jessica approached, hesitant. "Great game, Emma." "Thanks, Mom." Emma hugged her, then ran off to celebrate with her teammates. Jessica and I stood there in awkward silence. "She's doing well," Jessica said finally. "They both are. I know you probably don't want to hear this, but thank you for being stable for them, for not turning them against me." I looked at her. This woman I'd loved for 11 years. This stranger who'd shared my bed while planning weekends with other men. This mother of my children who'd chosen her happiness over their stability. "I didn't do it for you," I said. "I did it for them." She nodded. "I know. But still. Thank you." She walked away. I watched her go, feeling nothing but a distant sort of sadness for the life we'd built and destroyed. The anonymous contact had been right. Documentation mattered more than confrontation. Strategy mattered more than emotion. Protecting my daughters mattered more than punishing their mother. 3 years after the divorce was finalized, I started dating again. Her name was Rachel, and she was a teacher at the girls' school. She knew my history. I'd learned not to hide it. She appreciated that I'd fought for my daughters, that I'd been methodical and careful rather than reactive and angry. "You did the right thing," she said one night over dinner, building the case instead of just confronting her. It didn't feel right at the time. It felt calculating. Sometimes the right thing and the satisfying thing aren't the same thing. I thought about that hotel room, about sitting in the dark, listening to my wife with another man, every instinct screaming to kick down the door and make a scene. "No," I agreed. "They're not." Emma's 14 now, Lily's 12. They split time between my house and Jessica's apartment. They're well-adjusted according to their therapist. They know their parents' marriage ended because of their mother's choices, but they also know both parents love them. Jessica remarried last year. Someone from her new firm. I met him at Emma's 8th grade graduation. He seemed decent enough. The girls liked him. I was genuinely happy for them. Not for Jessica. I'd long since stopped caring about Jessica's happiness. But for Emma and Lily, who deserved to see their mother stable and settled. Rachel and I got engaged last month. The girls were excited. Jessica sent a polite congratulations text. We're all moving forward, separately, toward different futures. Sometimes late at night, I think about that anonymous contact. The man who'd called me from an unknown number, who'd guided me through the worst period of my life, who'd warned me against the mistakes he'd made. I never learned his name. Never heard from him again after that call from the hotel. But I think about him. About his kids that he only sees every other weekend. About the confrontation he chose over documentation. About the price he paid for letting emotion override strategy. I think about the different path I could have taken. Kicking down that hotel room door. Making a scene. Letting my anger and hurt dictate my choices. I would have felt better in the moment. I would have lost everything that mattered in the long run. The lesson, if there is one, isn't about infidelity or betrayal or broken trust. Those are just the circumstances. The lesson is about the difference between justice and revenge, between what feels right and what is right, between the satisfaction of confrontation and the wisdom of patience. I learned that love isn't enough to sustain a marriage. That trust, once broken, can't be rebuilt on apologies and promises. That sometimes the person you think you know best is the person you don't know at all. I learned that protecting your children means putting aside your own hurt and anger. That being the stable parent matters more than being the wounded spouse. That documentation beats confrontation every single time in family court. Most importantly, I learned that you can survive betrayal, that you can rebuild, that the life you thought you'd lost can be replaced with something different but equally valuable. Emma scored another goal last week. Lily won an art competition at school. Rachel and I are planning a small wedding for next spring. Jessica sends the girls birthday cards and shows up for school events and fulfills her obligations as their mother. Life goes on. Not the life I planned. Not the life I thought I'd have when I stood outside that chapel in Napa Valley 11 years ago, promising forever to a woman I thought I knew. But a good life nonetheless. A life built on truth instead of lies. On evidence instead of assumptions. On careful choices instead of impulsive reactions. The screenshot that started everything sits in a folder on my computer, buried under layers of other files. I haven't looked at it in years. Don't need to. The anonymous message served its purpose. It opened my eyes, set me on a path, gave me the warning I needed to protect what mattered most. Whoever sent it, wherever they are now, I hope they found their own peace, their own rebuild, their own good life after the wreckage. Because that's what we do. We survive. We document. We protect what matters. We move forward. And sometimes, if we're lucky and careful and strategic, we come out the other side not just intact, but stronger. That's not the ending I wanted. But it's the ending I earned. And in the end, that's what matters most.